Yes, it's wake up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
Welcome to the Metaverse.
I don't know why these stories are all under Metaverse, but they are.
Okay.
So it's Meatverse stuff, but I don't know where else to put it. This is news.artnet.com.
Mm-hmm.
An artist placed a cube made from $11.7 million worth of gold in Central Park, protected by its own security detail.
Okay.
All right, so this is like an art piece. This morning, joggers in New York...
Has nothing to do with the Metaverse, but okay.
Just wait a second.
Okay.
Wait a second. This morning, joggers in New York City, New York Central Park may have come across a curious, rather illustrious sight. A cube composed of 400 pounds of pure 24-karat gold, conceived by the German artist Nicholas Castello, Castello, who has billed it as a conceptual Socle du Monde, base of the world sculpture for our time. Was wheeled out to the Naumburg Bandshell this morning around 5 a.m. Although the work is not for sale, according to the artist's team, based on the current price of gold at $1,788 per ounce, its material worth is around $11.7 million. Flanked by a heavy security detail, the 410-pound work is set to be displayed in the park until the day's end. There's a message that was sent from Castillo that it was a conceptual piece of art. And so, with all things in 2022, an accompanying cryptocurrency is being launched.
Of course.
Alongside the physical artwork, the Castello coin traded as Cast is available for purchase. But, the greater sort of... here, let me do the quote here. The quote, the cube can be seen as a sort of communique between an emerging 21st century cultural ecosystem based on crypto and the ancient world where gold reigns supreme, says the Viennese gallerist Lisa Kandlofer, who was in New York for the artwork's launch. So it's
dig it.
It's like this. It's a statement. This bridge between the digital and the physical, and truly, because Bitcoin, they're calling Bitcoin digital gold. It's interesting that there's a big hunk of gold, and then there's like a crypto associated with it. I think,
and calling it the foundation of the world.
Yes,
of course, making comment on economics being the foundation for everything at this point,
right? And the cube and the occultism of the cube and everything there. There's also kind of a Space Odyssey 2001 feel to it, and I feel like, as AR and VR become more and more prevalent, we're going to see more expression allowed in the meat space.
Yeah, I was going to say physical
representation.
References.
Yeah.
Physical references to the metaverse, which is interesting because, it's kind of a flip-flop. The metaverse originally was like, hey, this is a digital representation of the real world. But now we do the physical, real-world representation of the metaverse, again, lending itself to the fervency that the elites want the metaverse to be the thing. And, especially with the metaverse being the new economic frontier.
Yeah.
We have this issue in our physical world today where there are no more economic frontiers. The last economic frontiers were banking, we're sort of the fractional reserve banking, this like super abstraction economic frontier. I mean, oil being a physical commodity. Yeah, that's like 100 years ago. Oil was the new frontier. But throughout the last 100 years, there was no other creation of wealth that had not been tapped. And so that's when fractional reserve banking comes in, and all the financial, shenanigans, which are all invented and made up and ethereal and nonsense, have gotten us into a pretty bad spot. But there's nothing else. So we need a new financial economic frontier in the digital space, starting with cryptocurrency, but now moving even into crazier spaces with the metaverse. That's okay. We nailed it.
Part of what we're going to see is universal basic income, not through the state, but through economic systems built in the metaverse or digital virtual things.
And it works into digital citizenry.
Yeah. Yep.
Things like that.
So it's all. Yeah, and the conditioning continues here. This is a thank you to producer Christian who sent this in. This is a website called EndeavorRx, the game-changing ADHD treatment. So this is a video game made for children suffering from ADHD.
EndeavorRx is the first and only doctor-prescribed video game treatment for kids with ADHD.
Yeah.
Talk to a doctor now. Can I not play this game without a doctor's prescription?
Oh, no. Can we play the trailer without a doctor's prescription? Or are we like violating some...
It's like a pharma sample, you know. They hand you a little packet in the doctor's office the free just to get you hooked.
Yeah. Well, let's see if it does play. It might not even play because it's got some different things. Oh, it's a YouTube embed.
It's playing on my side.
Imagine a medicine made up of pixels and play.
One-eyed fish. One-eyed fish monster in this world? Okay.
So
Created
grumpy.
with cognitive science. And
Wait, hold on. What did they say?
Created with cognitive science.
Created with cognitive science.
And proven in clinical studies. A video game.
That's what I'm talking about.
FDA authorized video game. FDA authorized video game.
Yeah.
What in the world? You don't think we're going into the metaverse? Here's proof 101 right here.
Digital medicine, FDA authorized, prescribed by a doctor, video game for ADHD therapy.
A video game
That's what I'm talking about.
that invites your child to discover new worlds.
You did it. Nice.
There's like a cube triangle thing with an eye floating by telling them they discovered stuff.
Their universe.
That's tough.
Capture mystic creatures. Boost past challenges. And unlock new characters.
Oh, yeah.
All to create positive change.
What?
Introducing EndeavorRx. The first prescription ADHD therapy
Look at us, rocking it again.
delivered through a video game experience. Designed to work alongside your treatment plan
Hey, whoa. You were all round, and I was all woot. Awesome.
and proven to improve attention.
Wow. This is really something. I want to know. So, to be clear, we are not against medical treatments, especially for people who need it. Technology is a wonderful thing that has helped a lot of people in a lot of different ways. And we say technology, we mean in biosciences and medicine, even in video games. But when it comes to these sorts of things, we're not against the technology, but we do want to question whose technology and to what ends are included in the agenda of the technology. If there is a video game that must be prescribed by a doctor and required authorization by a medical regulatory agency, what is in this game that requires regulation?
That's my question, because from what they show in the preview here, it's pretty milquetoast 3D game.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing about
like
it. It looks a little bit of Sonic, a little Mario Kart influence. Okay.
Things get approval through a regulatory agency because they need to be regulated. What about this game needs to be regulated?
Yeah,
I mean, I can
very
understand that in the marketing of the game, you know, if you're really trying to make it sound like a medicine for your kids, you know, you would just seek out FDA approval just to be able to say you have it.
I mean, I can,
making it prescription only turns it into like it adds an exclusivity to it. So it could just be, you know, an exclusivity that requires a gatekeeper to let you into the game, which makes it feel more like a medicine than just some game in an app store.
Right.
So I could see the marketing of that being the extent. But barring that explanation, something about this game requires regulation and a prescription by a doctor. And that's what we mean when we get into whose technology is it and to what ends. Why would this need to be regulated? And again, it's a first of all, example of digital medicine. You're talking about metaverse medicine affecting the real world.
Putting a screen in front of your face as medicine.
Which is just a crazy paradigm shift in itself that doesn't need any more deconstruction. But, what messages, what programming, they said alongside with a treatment plan, which means, generally that's kind of code for you're giving your child Ritalin and then putting this game in front of him, putting your child under some sort of medicated state and then putting this game in front of them. And I don't necessarily doubt that it helps with ADHD, but, what else is in there?
Well,
you know what I mean? Like, it could be anything. Your child's development is at the whim of the programmers, which is the case with all video games, but it's a little different when it's like, here you go, little Timmy, here's your medicine. This will make you better.
Yeah. There's a part of me that has the speculation of like, what you're right. What kind of programming is in this? What kind of thing is going on psychologically, that the manipulation and all that, the information, the worldview, all that stuff. But on the other hand, I can totally see parents saying like, the only thing I can get these kids to do is play video games,
look at a screen, right?
And
it might be more for the parents than anything else. Might not even be for the kids.
Because as a parent of somebody, if your child is suffering from ADHD and the only thing that really does it is video games, but you don't like the games they're playing or something like that, this is an untapped market. If you think about it, if I was a parent of a child with ADHD and the only thing they did quietly is video games,
letting them play this one,
letting them play this one makes me feel like at least I'm doing something good for the child.
Absolves the parent of some sort of guilt about the video games.
It's weird, man.
It may be for that. And like I said, the FDA regulation and the prescription, again, may be more psychologically rewarding for the parent than it actually is for the child. It could just be any game, really.
I know,
it could
there's
just be
nothing
anything
about this. It's literally the strangest thing. If it's not the most nefarious thing, then it's the most egregious marketing deal.
And that's the scariest part right there. The scariest part of it is there's two options. Either all the hullabaloo is marketing to make the parent feel better.
Which is horrible. Which is already horrible.
Well, I don't know.
I think it's pretty
bad. I'm not
bad.
a parent. I don't get it. I know parenting can be hard and it's filled with lots of insecurities about if you're doing the right thing or not. And being told by the FDA and your doctor that it's okay to let your kids play games, I could see how that would be beneficial to a parent's psyche. Now, I'm not saying it's right or for the best. I'm just saying I could see a parent breathing a sigh of relief at that. But it's either that or something much more diabolical. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is
programming these. There's something about these kids with ADHD that the medical establishment would like to explore more of their minds.
There's something diabolical in the game that they have to regulate it, or it's marketing. It could be either, honestly, at this point. There's no way of knowing. Maybe I should talk to a doctor and explore.
Well, children.
If it works for adults, I can make my own appointment. I don't even need mommy to do it for me.
When it comes to children and their data,
They all want to share their data.
all the kids want to share the data.
Yeah,
Uncle
they
Joe
love
said
sharing data. Yeah, well, that's the other side. Is it could be again a way to get the parents to let the kids play more games. You start data harvesting
the
on
ADHD
the kid.
Mind.
Yes, so from the beginning.
Yeah.
And, so it goes into their, cyber advertising profile from childhood. And, they have ADHD. So that helps to, with the advertising, the psychological manipulation. It's different if they have ADHD versus they're a neurotypical person. You would advertise differently to them. And so, that could be a funding structure of the business model that you start collecting advertising data on these children as ADHD children. And that data sticks with them for the rest of their life as the more personalized advertising continues through things like the metaverse, Facebook, social media, etc. That seems like a reasonable business plan for something like this.
Yeah. All right, one more story here. I don't know.
And the parents, to top it all off, the parents, because it's regulated by the FDA and they got a prescription, when that little notice comes up on their iPad that says, would you like to give permission for this app to suck up all your data? You know, a security-minded parent might go, no, get this out of here. You're not playing this game. But if it's prescribed by the doctor and it's going to fix your child, then yeah, I guess I'll give you all the data. My
doctor said, yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right.
All done. One more story here. This one is from the Sociable, and I'll have the official document here too. DARPA preps 5-year MELT program, MELT, to develop high-energy lasers for directed energy applications, drone swarms.
Fun.
There's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
The Pentagon's research funding arm is prepping a 5-year program to develop high-energy laser sources for directed energy applications that are ideally suited to combat drone swarms, among other undisclosed military uses. Quote, the deep magazine of laser weapon systems are ideally suited to counter swarms of hostile unmanned aircraft systems. DARPA MELT program, January 2022.
Okay.
Already envisioning soldiers swarming with up to 250 drones simultaneously in urban combat, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARPA, is now setting its eyes on how to counter drone swarm attacks and more with compact, scalable, and panelized high-energy laser, HEL sources. Good, hell. Or maybe heal. Is it heal or hell? I'm going to call it hell.
Sure.
On November 18th, 2022, DARPA will hold a Proposers Day for its massive 5-year Modular Efficient Laser Technology, MELT program, which seeks to, quote, develop a laser tile as the building block for compact, scalable, panelized, high-energy laser sources. Quote, the proliferation of small, low-cost, unmanned aircraft systems on the battlefield requires a layered defense that includes low-cost directed energy. DARPA MELT program, January 2022. According to the MELT program description published last week, we already read that. MELT aims to exploit technologies such as novel semiconductor fabrication techniques, coherent beam combining, photonic integration, 3D integration, and packaging. The goal of MELT is, quote, to develop a mass-producible, low-size, weight, and power swap scalable laser source, which, according to the program description, quote, will require the development of a new type of HEL source, as current HEL technologies are very complex, have high part counts, and require skilled labor to manufacture and assemble. So basically, DARPA is probably in the business of, bringing more... commercial might be too far, but just more easy to use portable lasers to the military. Yeah. Which is about time. They've had lasers for decades.
Yeah, weaponized lasers have been really way slower.
Way slow.
Than we were led to believe.
But now that we have MELT and HEL source, good to go, man.
Yeah.
They have a couple or 3 phases. Each with the, certain things they roll out.
Yeah, put those suckers on a little kill bot, a little kill drone, and you're good to go. We are full on living in the Matrix.
Let me read a couple of these. DARPA envisions soldiers swarming with, we already read that. Beijing and Moscow have weaponized space through killer satellites, directed energy weapons, says Defense Secretary. So, yeah, I mean, we've known about this type of weaponry existing. I just think it's weird. It's the next part of the kind of like the Forever War, where you need more manufacturing. You always need manufacturing for war, and so I think we've tapped out on the bullets and the tankers, and I mean, obviously they still spend billions of dollars on that, but
yeah, no, I mean, ammunition is a huge expense in kinetic war.
If you can go to lasers. Hey man, endless, well, it's not endless, but much more efficient forms of projectile weaponry, I guess.
Less matter.
Less
involved.
matter, yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Well, again, not sure why it's in the metaverse section, but
because
don't leave your metapod, or else the laser drones will get you.
You know, only in the world where the metaverse is like official would we have like true threats with lasers out in the world. You know, just in your everyday life.
Totally.
Your laser ham slicer, things like that.
Ham slicer. Yeah, soon Subway will be cutting their meats with laser meat slicers.